Have you ever wondered what it truly means to see the light? The phrase is often used to describe a sudden realization or a moment of clarity, but its roots go much deeper, reaching back through centuries of spiritual tradition and storytelling. Today, let's journey together into one of the most powerful stories from the Bible: Jesus healing the blind. This isn't just about restoring physical sight. It's about a profound journey from darkness to light, both outside and within. As we explore, let's open not just our eyes, but our hearts to the rich symbolism and timeless lessons hidden within these miraculous healings. To begin, imagine life in ancient times for someone who was blind. There were no guide dogs to help navigate busy streets, no braille to read, and no technology to make daily life easier. For the blind in biblical times, the world was filled with obstacles and uncertainty. They often depended entirely on family members for support, or, if they had no one, they were left to beg for survival. Society frequently viewed them with suspicion or pity, seeing blindness as a punishment or curse from God. These individuals were often pushed to the margins, living in the shadows of their communities. Physical blindness was a daily struggle, but it's only one part of the larger story we're exploring today. Now, let's shift our focus to another kind of blindness: spiritual blindness. This isn't about what our eyes can or cannot see, but about the truths and realities that our hearts and minds might miss. Spiritual blindness is like walking through life with perfect eyesight, yet missing the deeper meaning and purpose all around us. In the Bible, we find many examples of people who, despite having physical sight, were spiritually blind. The Pharisees, for instance, were religious leaders who knew every detail of the law. Yet, when the Messiah stood before them, they couldn't recognize him. Their knowledge was vast, but their hearts were closed. Or consider the rich young ruler who met Jesus but couldn't see beyond his possessions to embrace the life Jesus offered. Spiritual blindness is a condition that can affect anyone, regardless of their status, education, or physical abilities. Into this world of darkness, both physical and spiritual, steps Jesus, often called the light of the world. His mission was to bring illumination, to dispel darkness in every form. When Jesus healed the blind, he wasn't just restoring physical sight. He was offering a living illustration of his power to bring light into every kind of darkness. These miracles weren't just acts of compassion. They were signs pointing to a deeper reality. Through them, Jesus showed that he could open not just eyes, but hearts and minds as well. Let's look at some of these remarkable stories. In the Gospel of John, chapter 9, we meet a man who had been blind from birth. His entire life had been shaped by darkness. Jesus approaches him, mixes his saliva with dirt, and applies the mud to the man's eyes. He then instructs the man to wash in the pool of Siloam. As the man obeys, his world transforms. Light floods in, and for the first time, he sees. But the story doesn't end there. The miracle sparks a debate about what it means to truly see. The man's physical sight is restored, but more importantly, his spiritual eyes are opened to recognize Jesus as the one sent from God. Another powerful account is that of Bartimaeus in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 10. Bartimaeus is a blind beggar sitting by the roadside. When he hears that Jesus is passing by, he cries out, "Son of David, have mercy on me!" Despite the crowd's attempts to silence him, Bartimaeus persists. Jesus stops and calls him forward. In a moment of faith, Bartimaeus asks to see, and Jesus grants his request, saying, "Your faith has healed you." Instantly, Bartimaeus receives his sight and follows Jesus along the road. This story highlights the connection between faith and vision, not just the ability to see with our eyes, but the courage to believe and to recognize who Jesus truly is. These healings are more than just physical transformations. They're metaphors for salvation itself. They illustrate what it means to move from darkness into light, from ignorance to understanding, from despair to hope. Just as Jesus opened the eyes of the physically blind, he offers to open our spiritual eyes as well. He invites us to see the truth about ourselves, about God's love, and about the purpose and meaning of our lives. So, how can we apply these lessons to our own lives today? First, we need to recognize that spiritual blindness isn't just a problem for people in ancient times. It's something we all struggle with. There may be areas in our lives where we're not seeing clearly. Perhaps it's a prejudice we hold on to, a truth we're reluctant to accept, or a part of ourselves we're afraid to examine. The first step is to acknowledge these blind spots and bring them into the light. Next, we can follow the example of Bartimaeus and cry out for help. We can ask Jesus to open our eyes, to help us see what we've been missing. This might involve spending more time reading the Bible, praying for wisdom, or seeking guidance from those who are further along in their spiritual journey. It's about being honest with ourselves and with God, and being willing to see things in a new way. We can also share our stories, just like the man born blind. When we experience moments of clarity or transformation, telling others about them can bring hope and encouragement. Our testimonies of moving from darkness to light can help others find their way as well. Finally, it's important to remember that overcoming spiritual blindness is a journey. We may not see everything clearly right away, and that's okay. What matters is that we keep seeking, keep asking, and keep our eyes fixed on the light of the world. As we reflect on these powerful stories, let's remember that Jesus is the ultimate source of light and healing. Whether you're facing physical challenges, emotional struggles, or spiritual questions, He invites you to step out of the darkness and into the light. If today's message has opened your eyes in any way, consider sharing it with someone who might need a little illumination. Keep seeking, keep growing, and keep your heart ready to see the light.